and welcome back to the channel. Let's go detecting. Today I'm going to talk about digging. So we've got a detector, you found a target. Now the choice is to dig or not to dig, or rather what to dig with. Right, so let's look at the first spade. This is your basic screw fix special. Come in around about 20 to 15 pounds. They're nothing special, but they're quite strong. The only problem I've got with it, as you can see here, it's starting to corrode down the back. It doesn't really like the salt water element if you use it at the beach. It's lightweight, easy to carry across your shoulder or drag behind you, but it is quite short. So when you're digging, it can be a little bit back-breaking. So this is the first one, and I'll take this if I need to use a spade that I'm worried about if I lose it or anything like that. So this is my first spade that I started using whilst detecting. This takes me on to the border spade or poacher spade. As you can see, this is a little bit more advanced than the other spade, but it's also very heavy. You've got a solid wood handle, which is quite nice, easy good D-grip, a very long stainless steel shaft, which is ideal for beach detecting or ideally in the field, in ploughed fields. The length of the actual blade itself is considerable. It's quite narrow, as you can see. I'll get my hand around it quite easily. It's about 4 inches and about 11 inches in length, and it is super sharp. This goes into the ground without any problems whatsoever, and the height of it is fantastic, so you're not hunked over or breaking your back in any way, shape or form. So I still use this on a regular basis. From the poacher spade I moved on to the black Ada Invader XL because it's extra length. The other one's about there, and that is quite short. I'm only 5'9" and a bit, and I don't want to be banging over, bending over and doing my back an injury, constantly leaning over. This is very narrow. It's more like a trowel than a spade. And I use this one if I'm detecting on pasture or grounds like a sports field where you don't want to do any real damage, and you just want a small plug to take out and put back in on top of that minimal sight of any disturbance, which is the ultimate game. It's got a very good sturdy footrest there, which protects your boots, they don't split, and it's not the lightest. It's made of steel. It's really starting to rust a little bit around the welds at the back there, so I have to keep that clean, keep them on top of it. You can buy a stainless steel version, which is far better, but a lot more expensive. This was very, very cheap. This was sub £25, including postage. And I've got to say, it's a great spade to take. It's easy to carry, it is fairly well balanced, and again, you're not bending over too far when you dip it into the ground. So this was quite a good compromise size-wise, but not my favourite shovel or spade. This is the Nocta Premium Shovel. This is my latest shovel I brought. It's quite expensive, but it's worth the investment. The beauty of this shovel is the fact that it can be taken apart for ease of storage. You can then adjust it once it gets it in there for different heights. You have the 4 height settings, so it's ideal for various different people to use, or if you're digging on a slight incline or depth. So again, you can see where my hands are here. It isn't too bad to go into the ground without bending over again, with some of the other ones have the same problem. What I do like about it is the serrated edges on the sides, and the fact that they've even thought of something for when you're having a rest, a bottle opener just there, and one on that side as well, so you can open 2 bottles at the same time of soft drink, obviously. Again, there's a firm point there for your boot, so you're not going to slip off. Very good when it's covered in mud. The only downside to this, I think personally, is there's a little bit of a rattle, but that is part and parcel of having something that is separate in 2 parts and is adjustable. The T-handle, I will put some tape across there because it does get a bit slippery with muddy gloves, but it's very good when it's in the ground to rest your detector across so it doesn't fall over when you're doing the pinpointing or using a small digging tool. Ultimate thing with this one though, compared to the other spades, is the fact that the shaft and the blade part of the spade are in a straight line. So if you imagine you're digging into your hole, so your target's there and you're digging into your hole, you're not coming at an angle which other spades were going down, you'll be putting in there, but they're coming at an angle, digging a cone shape, you're actually digging a full round plug. Less likely to miss the target or leave it in any sidewall if you're slightly off on your pinpointing. So this is now my go-to spade. It's the same weight as the Poacher spade, but the fact I can adjust it to carry it around is easier. It is nicely balanced, especially holding it at this point here, easily to balance. Goes across the shoulder, sits nicely, and it doesn't corrode. Stainless steel. It is an absolute beast of a shovel, super solid. So that's why, to me, it is my favourite go-to spade at the moment. Now, the last two items I want to show you are in the spade category, are digging trowels. So this is a standard digging trowel. As you see, serrated edges, good hand guard, sits in on your belt, quite sharp, ideal for just digging and prying stuff out of the sidewall, or just scooping around or digging a small hole in a bit of turf. Definitely need one. Very, very useful. The next one is the plastic trowel, and that links me into when we are beach detecting. The beauty of this is sand is everywhere at a beach, as you know, and targets move around almost all the time. So as you put your scoop in, you might be moving it slightly. So when you come to pinpointing, you know it's there, but as soon as you move the sand, it just falls back down again a bit further and goes deeper and deeper and deeper. So this idea of this is you take a scoop of the sand where you think your target is under the pinpointer. Because it's made of plastic, it's not going to affect the pinpointer. So if your target's in the scoop here, you know you've got the target out the hole. You can just clear away a bit of sand with a pinpointer till you've got your target. Always handy to have. Don't use it all the time, but when you need it, it's there. Always having. And that leads me into beach detecting. Best in a sand scoop. This handle here, I bought from eBay just to ease of carrying, because it can sit across the shoulder there and it's out the way. It's also easier to rattle the scoop or carry it out the way when you're detecting along with your detector. But the beauty of the sand scoop is the fact you've got all these little holes. You can scoop an element of sand, shake it out, the sand falls through if it's dry sand, and you're left with the target item inside. And it makes a rattly noise so you know it's there. So I tried for a while with just using the spade. Not so bad on dry sand, but when you get to the wet sand, as soon as you dig a hole, it just backfills on itself, and you've got no idea of knowing if you've got the target out. This, you can scoop it out, rinse it in the sea if you're in the water area, and you can still find your target with a little bit more ease than you could if you were using a standard spade. So if you're going to do beach detecting and you want to take it seriously, I recommend you, wholeheartedly recommend, you get yourself a sand scoop. Okay, this one is the Amita R, and I wanted to go for a bigger one, but the guy at the shop said, no, you'll be dragging out tons of sand and it'll be quite hard work. And he was right. I went for the 180. As you can see, it's got a chamfered piece on the back there, which is ideal for your toe or your boot to go on to help push into the sand. You're not damaging into the honeycomb area of the stainless steel. And these are 9mm holes. This is ideal for most finds to stay within. If it's a small bit of jerry, like an earring, it may fall through, but you'll know because when you recheck the ground, you'll get the target there. That's when you go back to your trowel underneath it and you dig it that way. So there we go. These are my detecting tools of choice for digging. Like I said, I'll show you how these look when they're going into the ground, just so you can see slight ease of digging. So start with a border spade and it goes in super easy. I'll just bring that down a bit more so you can see it. And you can see it goes in super easy, no dramas whatsoever, and you can get a good little plug around that way. Black Ada, equally, I find another place. And so this is more of a trowel than a spade. So once again, you're on there and it pushes in straight away, and you can get a very nice, very tight circular plug. As you can see, this comes out. And as we said before, you're leaving just footprints. And finally, onto my favourite, the beast. So this one, so that's a slight noise. Oh, it's quite good, you know you're there. And as we said before about the angle, I'll show you the angle, is what I mean. Get the black Ada. So if you look, the difference there, you can see the angle I was saying. This is straight and that goes at an angle. So on that one and on the border spade, it's even more there, pronounced angle of attack. It's a minor thing, but it's something I find quite useful to know. So this one, for example, in place, you know you're going in a straight line down the ground and you're into it quite well. I'm into a rock at the moment, and it makes a little honeycomb shape or a little pattern as it goes round and around. What I'll do is I'll bring a plug out so you can see. Around. And then back into there, and it brings out a lovely plug of soil. And that is how well these things can dig. So I've just put the plug back in, as you can see, no real marks, slight line, to be expected. First bit of rain, that's going to disappear. But that is perfect. So there we are. That's my demonstration of the tools I use whilst metal detecting for digging holes and recovering targets. If you've got any questions, please leave them below in the comments and I'll happily answer them. If you'd like to hit the like button or subscribe button, do me a favour, keep the numbers up. And if you're out and about, take care, happy hunting, and I'll see you on the next video. Ta-da.